Record on the computer. Okay, it says it's recording. Before we do anything, I have to do my Be Real.
Okay, but the other thing is we have to like come up with the reason why Shannon's not here. We killed her.
She's on a yacht.
There's only one television show she watches religiously. And say it with me.
Chicago PD.
Chicago PD.
Be Real. 1 second. I'm keeping this in also.
So Shea is
you better keep this in. Jane, keep this in.
Okay.
Arrivederci.
Okay, that's actually trash. I'm gonna redo it.
Actually, I'm gonna be real during this Zoom and say that one time I took my Be Real so many times, I got to like the end of the amount of times you could retake it. And it was like, you either have to send this version of the Be Real or forfeit your Be Real for the day. I was like, I guess I'm sending it.
They said, you need, it's time to be real.
They were literally holding me at gunpoint to be real.
Okay. No, I hate my life. I don't want to.
Okay, so we're discussing the White Lotus season 2 finale.
So
yes.
True.
Oh my God, there's a gnat. Sorry.
The gnat is into the chat?
Yeah. Oh, sorry. So if you see this, that's what that is. But yes, so Shannon did not watch this season of the White Lotus.
Or the previous.
I was gonna say.
So she is not in this Zoom today, but she is in our hearts always. And she will be posting this on social media. So it's like she's here.
Is Shannon in the room with us today?
Personally, no. Maybe?
No.
Okay. But yeah, so do we just want to start off with overall thoughts of this episode / episodes throughout the season? Season.
I do. And this is very out of the blue, so please forgive this. But in that scene when Daphne and Ethan are talking and it's a very close up and she's like portraying every emotion known to man and flawlessly.
Yeah.
I would think was like, does she have veneers?
Okay.
When you go back and look, I was like, it was giving me Taylor Swift teeth. And then I was like, wait a minute.
First off, what you need to learn as a person in the world is that everyone in Hollywood has veneers.
I know, but like when
I kind of just believed that she had good teeth.
Oh, I did too. But then I kept looking at it, like I was zooming in on pictures because it was confounding me. And I think yes, and this is not like a judgment of any sort. I was just curious if anybody else thought these things while they were watching the scene.
I don't know. I would if she was more of a like teeth smiler.
If that makes sense. She's very much not a teeth smiler.
You know, like, what I mean?
If you look at the pictures of that scene.
Honestly, but the fact that I didn't clock it means that they're well done.
They are well done. That's why it's confounding me at this time.
Yeah, I just feel like if you're going to paint the veneers. Wait, you go.
She said on Seth Meyers that she goes to a dentist in the Rockefeller Center. So
maybe I need to go.
Rockefeller Center.
Okay, because
Rockefeller Center.
I don't know.
I think those might just be good teeth.
No, that looks like a veneer.
Okay. I don't know.
Those are like shaped so perfectly. Like
yes, and what got me was they're so white.
This is going to be
this is the worst way we could have started this.
I'm so sorry. I just had to ask. I had to get it out, and I was saying
you're completely valid in this.
10 minutes off camera, and then you said on camera. I was about veneers.
No, but
I love her and she's amazing.
But I feel like people who like have veneers are more like smiling teeth people. And I just like, I am not seeing them in her everyday life. And like with her never mind. I was about to say I watched all of the bold type, which is an embarrassment on my part, but I'm allowed to then say with her bold type money, she got veneers. I don't know.
As she should have got her bag.
It's $2,000 a tooth.
Listen,
Yeah,
that freeform bag is no joke, and she got it.
true. It was like on for 5 or 6 seasons,
long
and her love interest was the guy who was Colin, the professor that Serena Vanderwoodson dates.
That man is a
Mm.
working actor.
Yeah,
He's on TV.
he's literally the reason why I started watching the show, because I was like, I need to see more things he's in. And then I was like, wait, these 3 group of girls, I like them. And now I follow all 3 of them, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with the information I now have of all of you. But but I do love her, so but it is wild seeing her on the season. But back to what we were saying.
We can move on to another topic. I just had to ask that.
No,
I your overall thoughts are, does Daphne have veneers?
Those aren't all of my thoughts. My thoughts are, I love that everyone was theorizing about how this season would end. And I love that we were kind of right, but also very wrong. And that pleases me, because I hate like when you completely guess an ending. But I mean, I'm not a guesser. I'm not a theorizer. I'm not a hypothesizer. I'm not an active participant in the media I watch. I just let it soak.
I'm not an actor.
I'm not coming up with things. I'm just like, wow, that was a great episode. Can't wait for next week. I wonder what's going to happen. And then I get on TikTok and everyone's like, okay, so Greg is recording her with the camera in the corner of the room because he's the cowboy that is in love with Quentin. And I was like, where are you getting this? And
yeah,
then
people like remembered the lines. Like people remembered things that were being said. Like
people were rewatching.
Yeah,
people
like when the gays showed up, someone like immediately after that episode on TikTok, someone was like, remember when Theo James was talking about how all of these people are rich but or like have really nice ass houses but like are like broke? And I was like, I literally didn't even
actually know.
But with all of that being said, I still acted like I knew what was going to happen. Like I was still filling out these recaps like, this is what's going to happen. So
when they announced the season 3, I was like, Jennifer Coolidge is not doing it again. Like I just know that. Like she's not committing. She's not signing on the dotted line another 6 months. She wants to be at home. And I don't know. But so like it made sense that if she was gonna bring her back, that she was gonna die. But we all had to like discarded that theory weeks ago.
Yeah.
First week we were all like, could she die? And then we were kind of like, no, they wouldn't do that.
Yeah. I don't know. I think something that happened specifically with this watch, because I think watching the first season, no one knew what this show was going to be or what it was. And so I think that the second season, everyone hyped the show up to be something it wasn't. And like, I think that the ending was kind of perfect for what the show is, which is about like, just like things that happen, like the dynamics between people on vacation, and like with like some like batshit wild things always happening. But it's like, of course Theo James wasn't going to die. Like, why would he have died? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's just going on vacation. Even though
such a blank character. He's such a blank character that if he died, the audience wouldn't care.
It would just be like a plausible ending. But like with Tanya, you actually know her and care about her, and her death makes sense, even though it was totally ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like it was actually in character, and it wouldn't have been in character for like, what's his name? Ethan.
Yeah.
Like have actually killed Cameron.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, is that it like the show like is based in some sort of reality, like even though it's absurd. Like the death of like in season 1 like, even though it had like such absurd parts, like it like made sense with the following of everything, and then like everyone else was just sort of like existing around it with like their own tension. So then it sort of made sense, like when it got to like the death, that it was like, oh. I do have a question about it being Tanya though, which I does annoy me like this much, but it's because I didn't think that she was going to die. And it's that, where did her heels go when she was in the water? Because she was wearing her heels when she absolutely died. And so you're telling me that they somehow were unbuckled and off by the time that she hit the shores?
What she was wearing was a little 2-inch block glitter heel with loose side straps. So it was a plastic child shoe. Basically, it was an old maiden type of shoe. So I think it did float away in the water.
I don't think so. I
It could
think
have,
that
I think one of them could have like hit the boat or like hit the water so hard that the shoe came out of her foot.
Yeah.
Her foot came out of the shoe.
but like Tanya is not spending money on cheap shoes.
Yeah.
No,
Like,
they
these
were like
are
expensive. They were like expensive
It was like Polly Pocket.
tacky shoes. They were Polly Pocket shoes.
Yeah.
And that's what Daphne was actually reacting to in the water. Was
the-
like,
The dogs.
these are tacky shoes.
yeah. I've said this many times, and this is not a new thing, but I did know that the body in the ocean was a woman.
Everyone knew it had a shaved leg.
Yeah. Well,
Not take that into-
quick of you to assume.
Sorry.
Cameron does seem the
Anyone
type to be
shave their
like,
leg.
I shave my legs because it makes me faster when I swim. Like, does that not seem like the type?
Yeah, but it was like the
We know
curve
that
of the
from
calf was very feminine. Sorry.
the curvature of the leg.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the first thing. I felt like an absolute moron because I looked at the like as it was happening, I was like, that is a woman.
We all were like, it's a dead woman in the water.
Yeah.
Somebody get her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But this season, I feel like this season had me more gagged than last season. Like, I will literally, until the day I absolutely die, think about that scene with Aubrey Plaza and Megan Fahey where she's like, I have a trainer, and then shows an actual photo of her blonde her blonde ass child, and it's like it like jaw dropped. Like, I have a child.
Okay.
Like that, like, oh, like
I did see like the scene where Theo James is flossing and he looks really pissed off and she's
Yeah.
on the phone with her kids. I did get this off of Twitter, but everyone was like, this is the scene that we were supposed to know that he knows that that's not his kid because he doesn't like want to talk to him and he's like annoyed that he has to put up with this kid that's not his.
Yeah.
Supposedly.
Yeah, I didn't know what we were supposed to do with that scene.
Or is it just like his dual nature? Sure.
Yeah.
I just saw it as like he just like genuinely is just like stuck in this, like, I feel like because we saw so much of like Ethan and Harper's like relationship just like cracking and sort of seeing like the like underbelly of it, that like every time we saw like Theo James and like Megan Fahey, I always want to call them by their character names and then immediately switch, so that's what's happening.
Yeah.
But like I feel like every time we saw them, it was just like surface level problems that were just like sort of like hinted at deeper things that were just like, oh, this is like spooky ooky. But I think that like that scene sort of just like showed more that like, I don't know. I thought it was just like he genuinely is not happy with the life he lives and it's all just like this facade. But I also do kind of love the idea of him like knowing they're not his kids, and that's why there's always this competitive nature between them that's like them always like jabbing at each other. And I also just like, I really thought we were gonna get a reveal that he was like broke as hell.
I know.
I think
And-
he is.
But like, why didn't I
But, like,
wanted
it just is
that.
not is unconfirmed.
I wanted that so bad. But also, I saw this on Serialized, like during the
Plug. Why don't you plug?
absolutely, because I don't think I ever like I just didn't think any, or I thought about it, but it was just like but someone's review of the episode where Tanya gets the fortune teller or the tarot card reader to like
Mhm.
talk to her, when she's speaking in Italian, she's telling her that her madness will drive her to death. Like
Yeah,
literally
there was a
tells her.
lot of hints that she was gonna
Yeah.
die.
Yeah, but it was just like Mike White was like, "You dumb white people, you can't speak Italian." It's
Well,
like,
and he is shielding a lot of the Italian from us. Like that's how he kept like Alessio's intentions in the dark too, was they don't
that also
transcribe.
gag.
Yeah, I was like, that's obvious. That's her friend. Like,
Well, because he had like
I-
for him to come out of the blue like that and just be like, oh, Alessio, like we had spent so much time with them that we would
but I
have
was like,
known
nobody
if that
is
was
on their ass. Yeah.
yeah.
I do have a question, and maybe this is just like me. Were Mia and Lucia just like great friends or like lovers? Like, was that like a thing?
I don't think that they were lovers, but I do think that it was extremely. I wanted the Aubrey Plaza Megan Fahey kind of moment. Like I thought we were gonna get revenge on our husbands together.
I know, and that's what like I was like I just think like this season was just like had so many moments that I was just like and I think it was just like I liked a lot more of the characters. Like I liked a lot of the actors and actresses in season 1, but I think that like I just like I loved the characters this season, and like that scene where they're like where Ethan and Daphne are like walking and Daphne keeps just like
Yes, let's talk. Okay, we need to talk about that. What do we think was going on other than like Daphne doing a hair commercial?
Well,
I think they fucked.
yeah, and I think she believed that Harper and Cameron slept together. Like
Yeah,
I think
I do
she, because of Cameron being who he is, and Harper and like all the conversations they had had between them, like I think she fully didn't doubt it for a second that they had done that. And I think she was upset at Harper because she was like, I kind of felt like we were getting to be friends, but also her dynamic with Theo James is that like if you sleep with someone, well, then I'll sleep with someone, and it's gonna be your college roommate.
Karma is her boyfriend.
And I also
And
thought
and on the private island she wanted to go visit. So like a win is a win.
yeah, true. And also like I thought it made it like unfortunately did make sense, even though I really did want like Daphne and Harper to like have something, because it felt so obvious so many times.
I'm sorry, but the kiss would have been electric. Come
Yes,
on.
they both even like a Cameron and Ethan kiss would have been great, but I think that it was also like for Ethan finally had something on Cameron to where like, oh, like you stole all of the girls I liked and like slept with them. Now I'm going to have sex with your wife and you will like never know. But like it does make me feel a little sad because I don't know. I do sort of think that like Cameron and Harper didn't have sex. And maybe that's just me like
I don't
You
think
mean
they
Ethan?
did.
Cameron and Harper.
Like when she went up.
Oh, Cameron and Harper. Okay. I was still on Daphne and Cameron.
Oh. No, because I think she's lying a little, and I don't think it was just like
Just a kiss.
but I don't think it was
I think they were both minor sexual dalliances and not that big of a deal.
I don't think I think that Daphne, I keep wanting to call her Megan Fahey.
Honestly, it's so much easier because when you're
Just
saying the
say.
character names, I'm like Aubrey Plaza. Like I can't
Yeah.
compute.
But I think Megan Fahey and Ethan, because I always forget his name is Will Sharp.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah. I think they actually had sex because I think that they like Ethan like, yeah, I think that like Daphne Megan Fahey truly believed that he would do something like that. And then I think that like Ethan was never ever going to like shut up if he didn't do that. And it's like I'm so happy like
Also his own like guilt from like the night with Theo James when like he did kiss Mia
Yeah.
and like he was fully like could have done that, and so he was like projecting his own feelings of like guilt from that experience onto Aubrey Plaza, like assuming that she was doing the exact same thing but that she had like given in when he had like, you know, said no or whatever.
yeah.
And so he was kind of like, well, whatever, I guess it's my turn to like give in, and then sleeps with Megan Fahey, and afterwards he's like, okay, well, we're even. Or I don't know if it's like we're even, but like somehow they kind of got their anger out in whatever way and were able to like move past it. Whereas I feel like Theo James and Megan will always have that kind of anger simmering between each other. So they'll kind of never like they're not really in any kind of place of bliss as much as like our queen Megan is kind of, but like at the same time they're always going to be like kind of circling each other, whereas I feel like Aubrey and Ethan are kind of like settled, like that was their thing and now they're like able to move past it. Like I don't feel like they're constantly going to be like like in game mode, like playing chess all the time with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that the theme of karma is really interesting in this season because you have the whole karmic payment to Lucia where she gets Louis Vuittons, like
Yeah.
for sure. And that like moment of like the lift of their heels and you can see the red on the bottom of the heels, it was like, ah!
Yeah.
Because I was like, okay, this is kind of a lame way of them just walking in the street to end the season. And then that like little flash of money, I was like, just kidding. But okay, back to Megan is like, Megan Fahey's like ideology of the world and like constructed self-care of like maintaining mystery as like secrets being essential to relationships was interesting because she kind of has like the Martha May Huvier, she actually needs female friendship because she has that line earlier when they're eating edibles and they're like getting philosophical and she's like, yeah, a lot of my like female friends, like they've all like stabbed me in the back. Like she has some kind of line about not having close friends. And that's why you can see that twitch of emotion on her face that it's actually aimed at Harper rather than Theo. But I kind of like want to believe that her karmic debt system and the way she's doing her accounting books like works for her. Like,
oh, it does.
I don't like, yes, it's chaotic and kind of twisted, but I think that there's that like dark part of her. I don't even think that it's that dark, that she's like thrilled that her life isn't this cookie cutter rich wife. Like she can like kind of evade expectations of even her husband, of even herself, and the roles that she plays in life. And I think the whole season is an exploration of monogamy as not as a binary as we try to make it. Like I feel like Mike White especially is trying to be like, what if we blur the lines of monogamy a little bit? Maybe we're all in a better place. Like, I don't know. Like you said, Shea, that you weren't sure if this season was really about sex as the thematic thing that Mike White says, but maybe it's about karma or monogamy or masculinity or all of it.
I think it is all of those things.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought like the idea that I just feel like season 1 was so obviously about money, like that felt like kind of
Yeah.
like the constant like topic of discussion. Whereas this one, I feel like there was more I felt like there was just more discussion on like more like relationship or like dynamics and like specifically like male female dynamics and like just I guess like male dynamics just in general. I feel like that was a constant thought, and it didn't feel very much about like sex. Like I feel like there was like I don't know. And so I think that that might just be like something I didn't see, and because I didn't see it, I just as soon as he said it was like I don't like that. But like I don't know, like it just felt like there were such like powerful characters that like to whittle it down to just like sex felt a little like I don't know. But yeah.
I was going to completely switch topics and not to victim blame, but Portia doing her Nancy Drew work was very frustrating.
This is not about the Nancy Drew part.
Mhm.
Okay. Just an aside on Portia as a character.
So
I thought she was such a good like representation of like
Gen Z.
who she was, which was like it was
Yes.
a really well written character. And I feel like the fact that a lot of people are like having the ick at Portia, it's like, girl, look inward, because like with respect, every person who was like, I hate her outfits, had that exact same sweater vest hanging in their closet as they spoke, and they shouldn't have spoken, because like she like the always being very anxious, like always being like, I want to get off the internet. Like I say that all the time. Where am I on the internet? And then she's like, I just want to meet a guy who's like unaware of the discourse. How many times have you lot said that? Like we have to be real with ourselves. And like the fact, like also to be honest, like everyone being like, I would have had a game plan. I would have been out of there so fast. Like, would you really have? Like some of you guys, not like you guys on this, just in general, some people are so blindsided, would be so blindsided by that Love Island ass man. They would have been in that exact scenario. They would have gotten in the car. Like they would have not searched for their phone in the hotel room and just waited till the man woke up to ask for his explanation. Like it's not that what she did was like logical, because it obviously wasn't, and she was obviously being dumb. But like, let's not sit here and act like it's unrealistic for some of us.
I don't think it is unrealistic.
Just like in general, people's backlash at her character is like, be real. Anyway, continue.
It's just interesting that she is not forthcoming and doesn't show a lot of agency in saving herself or getting herself out. She just like narrowly slips out of harm's way just randomly. But it's on her to save Jennifer Coolidge's fortune, because she's the only one who has the pieces of information that it was Greg orchestrating that whole thing. And if she doesn't do anything, Greg gets all of Jennifer Coolidge's money.
Yeah.
And so that whole train of events is frustrating in the like karmic reality of how it will play out. Of like the justice for the Tanya character is in Portia's hands, and you kind of, she's wishy-washy on her relationship with Tanya, which is fair, but Tanya wasn't that cruel to her. Like, she was just kind of ambivalent.
And I also think that like Portia's character, like as much as like I feel like so many people were like, you're in Italy, like go. Like you don't need to be in the hotel, go do things. And I feel like I also had like that same sort of annoyance, but then I thought about if like I was Portia, I like as someone who like does have anxiety and like does like just like is a Gen Z person who is constantly on the internet, like I'm not going to go, and also like as a woman, I'm not going to go into a city I know no one and like just explore. Like, I'm sorry, like I'm not that girl. And so I found like her like the solution being so obvious, but also her still being like, I'm stuck here, like my life sucks. It's like, that's so like, I don't know, just being like 22 and just like
Yeah.
wanting to complain. Like, it's okay. I don't know. I sort of understood, and like I think that she just got a lot of like blah 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 for like just the reasons of like people saw something in her that like they probably saw in themselves, but they didn't want to say anything. But also like like there is such a reason for her being there, in the sense of like, I think also like her trying to actually like go out and still like running into Tanya does sort of make this like link between them and this connection that like it also is just like, I don't know, like Greg was so upset when she showed up, and like it was sort of like this life raft for Tanya that we didn't even realize, that's like exactly like you said. So I don't know. I do agree that the hate on Portia's character is a little like,
Because I feel like she did deliver some very memorable moments of like, I think of her eating the ice cream and then like turning to Essex and being like, do you have like goals? Or I think she ate the line where she goes, yeah, you fuck your uncle. Like, sorry, she ate. Like, she did deliver
yes.
that well.
And I also think that like maybe people were thrown off because like this isn't, I mean this is, but like this isn't like the normal Gen Z representation that I feel like we usually get. Like they usually are more like, like, you know what I mean? Like they're more like annoying, more on social. I think like just like millennials have been writing Gen Z as like, gotta record like a TikTok, and like there is other aspects of us that aren't just that, like yes but no. And I think that like she was annoying for like relatable fresh reasons that like I feel like I liked. I don't know. I also love Haley Lou Richardson, so it just felt a little like,
Big part of the reason
guys,
for me
let's
too.
get over it.
Because I was like, people who didn't know Haley Lou Richardson, I was like, there's no reason you would be on Maine hating on Portia like this if you knew she's an icon. Sorry.
True.
Anyway.
True. Yes. And since we have not discussed them at all, I'm going to bring them up. The four men.
Well, I was going to bring up the Italian ladies.
Yeah.
Screaming,
There's so many people to discuss.
literally.
Because, like, I'm not going to cry if we don't talk about Albie and his father, but like, we need to talk about Lucia, Mia, and Valentina.
Well, they like, I have only praise for them.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to say that like I was gagged at Albie like sitting his father down, Christopher from The Sopranos, and being like, you're gonna give me 50,000 euro. And like, listen,
That was a really
because that's literally what he sounded like to me. And I thought like I was literally like, where is the joke? Because I knew he was gonna do it. But
Yeah.
it literally like I like, there was something about him sitting across from like his father being like, I'll talk to mom. It's like,
And then he put his little sunglasses on at the end of the scene. Nothing.
It's like we weren't talking about anything. No, he did have material to work with there. You're absolutely right.
He had a scene. He was finally given material, and he showed up. He clocked in.
I did also love seeing Christopher from The Sopranos.
Thank you for saying that. Thank you for saying that.
Because like at first I was like, I was excited because I thought like he was gonna bring more like drama, but then it was just like seeing him like, but like he's not Christopher from The Sopranos. He's like a man on like a 50, 60, whatever you want to say, year old man who just like,
Whatever you want to say.
like I don't know,
However you
but
want to say that. Old.
literally, but like you know what I mean? Like he just like was trying not to get divorced, and it's like,
Yeah.
which
But
made
that is
him
simply so far.
so, and like I just like loves that he was like, I was really okay with the turn of his character being like, I'm gonna be a new person. And like his whole part wasn't just like being a sex addict.
Yeah, I feel like it could have fallen into that. And it's like, he's not going to stick with like whatever resolution that he has to be better. So it's like kind of sad, but also it was more interesting than like him murdering Lucia for sleeping with Albie. Like people thought.
People think that.
Yeah, I saw a lot of people predicting.
It didn't quite get to the moment in Fleabag season 2 where at the like silent retreat that man is like, I just want to take mugs out of the dishwasher and have my wife drink out of them in the morning. Like that like level of emotionality wasn't quite Man from The Sopranos, but like it was it was realistic.
It was in that vein, I guess.
But I was more okay with Albie this episode because like watching him get played a little like did make me like LOL laugh out loud. And then I did think it was funny. I knew at the end Portia and Albie were gonna meet up and they're gonna be like, can I have your number? So like
your vacation.
Yeah, literally.
I did think it was funny that like the timidness that exists in like heterosexual relationships is that it takes 6 to 7 hours of like television for like two characters to exchange numbers, or 6 to 7 hours to one married couple to have sex on vacation. Like that commentary was funny.
Say that.
Yeah. And it was satisfying. I did think that the Harper and Ethan's like sex scene was good.
Yeah. I will say, sorry, this is not talking about any of those people right now. At one point, I did think that the death, because I genuinely thought Mia was going to die. I just felt like that was just going to happen. I did ride for that theory. But like when she got the pianist job and then the actual pianist like came down and was pissed, I did think that that was going to be the murder. And for like 5 seconds, I was absolutely riding high on the fact that I had cracked the code. And I'm glad she didn't. And I'm glad that like I'm glad like I don't know, she got what she wanted. I am a little nervous. Like I'm scared for Valentina and her, like in a way that like is probably fine, just because I was like, Valentina obviously like has like she finds a woman attractive and then she sort of just like has the most obvious like crush on them, and then it's like not reciprocated. And I feel like it was sort of like Mia was like, well, like I'm not the one for you, girl, but we'll find someone for you. And I was like, okay.
I kind of thought she did establish like clear boundaries, and I got the impression that Valentina was like, yeah, this is like a temporary dalliance and I'm not like in love with her, because like her standing up for her in a professional sense like signaled that she's not in love with her, but she's like advocating for her. And like I felt like what was so satisfying about this last episode is like all of the inaction that was building throughout all of the episodes was finally actionized. Like finally Valentina is like playing a supervisor role in a way that she's like come into her own. She's more aware about parts of her own identity. Mia got her dream job. Lucia finally got paid. Like all of the things that were collecting like actually had a good ending.
Yeah.
Other than Jennifer Coolidge saying to herself, you got this, as she plunged to her death.
Yeah. The reason why I was kind of scared about like the Valentina thing, because I wanted to believe that, but like she did like absolutely do the most, like stood up so much for Isabella that made it almost seem like we were just repeating patterns. But I want to believe your theory, so I'm gonna say you're right.
I do think that for some reason, Mia was constantly dressed in the year 2009 and she
Did
did
someone see
look bad
Shea?
and she's gorgeous. Like her
I did
makeup was
say
good,
that.
but then the hair and clothing was bad. Like Julie was like, why does she look bad every week?
No,
The thing is,
did
I love
someone see? There's like a TikTok where they were like, "Why is she dressed like she's going to Camp Rock?"
I literally said that in one of my recaps. I was like, she went into the Disney Channel wardrobe closet,
Yes.
pulled out that outfit with the fringe shirt and the Uggs and the skirt from Justice that I definitely had,
Yeah.
and put it together. And like honestly, I love that for her. I love that ugly ass seafoam green dress that she wore to sit at the piano. Like it's so funny to me. I don't know. I
It was
just love that
funny.
it wasn't like she
But
just had her own
that
style,
kept
and it
her
wasn't-
perpetually innocent. Was like the
yeah,
bad fashion kept her perpetually innocent into like in contrast to Lucia's like stylishness.
yeah. Well, I read an interview with her at work today because I was bored, and like she was talking about how her and Lucia like kind of trade energies. Like Lucia will give her like this kind of confidence like she had with the piano player, but in return she gives Lucia kind of this thing of like encouragement almost, like whenever Lucia was like, I'm a bad person, like we shouldn't be doing this, she was like,
Yeah.
no, you're amazing, you're talented, you're beautiful, like you got this in the bag. And she did. And like it's kind of like that friendship thing of like you don't necessarily have to be the same person to like be close with someone, I guess, or like understand them and know how to like help them be better. And also I love the outfit choices. And I love how like they're like, let's go shopping at this boutique. And Mia's like, I'm gonna buy the gaudiest, awful piece of clothing ever. And Lucia's like, I'm buying this beaded Miu Miu mini
It
dress.
was so good. Like she looked
And
so.
she went up to the bar. And she should
Yeah.
do that.
But
Anyway.
it was also like big sister, little sister energy of like, I brought this for myself and you can wear this.
Yeah. But
And
like
Mia was like,
honestly,
okay.
sometimes that's just how Italians dress.
But the other thing is
I think we should do.
Europeans are not collectively stylish.
Yes, some
That's not
Europeans
a thing.
literally dress like that, and they love it. They're so confident. They're out there on their street with that, with outfits that look like they came from the Disney Channel closet. And you know what? Good for them.
And the fact that the Peppa Pig line was improvised.
Yes.
Did y'all read that?
Yes.
She said in an interview, she was like, it was, I'm going to try to do it bad, I tell you now. But she was like talking about how everyone laughed and laughed when she said that on set. And she was like, well, I wondered if Jennifer knew like this Peppa Pig. Did she know this Peppa Pig? She
Peppa
kept saying this Peppa Pig. And she was like, well, I improvised it, but I wasn't sure if Jennifer knew that this Peppa Pig.
She didn't know this Peppa Pig. Have you heard? So
That's so funny. And apparently Jennifer Coolidge was like doubling over in that.
Yeah.
Jennifer is so good. Like people, I already said this already, but people who were like, she was good, but she wasn't like that good last season. Like shouldn't have won her Emmy. I was like, she is so good. She's so good every single week. She showed up and showed out. Like
I hate people who
There's
don't.
no one else that can bring that quality. Like,
yes. She
Yeah.
like leans fully into the ridiculousness, but like she's so smart and has like knows the nuances of Tanya's character where it doesn't go into caricature. So like in that scene where she's like worried she's gonna die and like ends up shooting everyone, it's like it's not like a laughable scene. Like it is a little funny, but it's like at the same time you like are really scared for her because like she's created such like a human character that doesn't rely on like only being garish or like only being overly emotional. Like especially when she like gives that speech to Portia and she's like, you reminded me of you or of a younger me, and like she's like earnestly trying to impart wisdom on her so things don't go south, even though like she's also heading south. But yeah, she's so good. And like so is everyone. But
and like the way that last phone call with Portia, where like the fact that she didn't warn Portia is really like a symptom of her forgetfulness a little bit, that she didn't like take the time to be like, don't go with him. But the way Jennifer Coolidge was portraying it, it was like she was like, no, you just really cared about him. And so I was trying to let you see it for yourself. Like the way she played it was like actually so grounded in this like false kind of kindness that was kind of real at the same time. That was, she's just so good. And like the way she unloaded, no bullet left, no gay left alive. None.
eyes completely closed.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That was crazy.
And like everybody got two. Like everybody got.
She was like hitting the marks too. Like
Yeah. It was like
she heard somebody coming. Like they had the advantage. Like she couldn't even see. They could have run up and like.
no.
Like
it was absolutely wild because like first guy down, he also Rip, he was hot. Like so
Nicola,
sorry.
Yep.
Sure.
the
But,
Italian.
like, so fine to me.
A mafia guy.
He's half
Yeah.
Italian.
But it was like him, obviously, like he was gonna go down for the count. But it was like everyone else, like I'm just picturing like the other end of like that perspective was them just like
Yeah.
literally like
The one guy that dove into the water.
At first I really did think that like that was gonna be the body in the water, and I was like, there's
I thought
no
that.
way. Like
Well, I was like, is he gonna swim all the way back to shore? And then I was like, there's no
stay tuned for White Lotus season 3.
Like it's just, and like the fact that she's like shaking with the gun, looking at Tom Hollander spitting up blood. She's like, did Greg have the affair? I know you know. Like it doesn't
so,
matter.
It
and I
was
love
so
That man is dead.
yeah. No, when she was looking in his bag in the bedroom, like it almost felt so amateur. It was like, what do you think of when you think you're gonna kidnap someone? Rope, duct tape. I was like, it's not even this high class operation that we all thought it was. Like he straight up called up his gay lover who loves updating villas and was like, do you know anyone who could kill Tanya? And he was like, yeah, I know this guy from the mafia. He brings me cocaine for my parties. Like it was not like organized in any way, shape, or form, which is so
the way she pulls the ropes out and then the duct tape, and she's like, oh god. Like
I also the run she did to the bathroom. I was like, girl, like they obviously saw you. Like if you are the target.
Like, if I turn my back, they can't see me.
But like the way she held her like, hey, how y'all doing? Like energy for like an hour of just like, I'd like another wine. Just like the whole like stilted, and they like don't suspect that she knows anything because that's always the way that she acts.
Yeah. She
So good. I
almost
saw
like saved herself by being herself.
Yeah.
I saw a TikTok that was like just the worst edited photo of Jennifer Coolidge on a boat, and it was like moving, and it was like POV if Tanya would have used the stairs to get on the boat. And I didn't even realize in the moment that there like were any type of like stairs or whatnot. No, I didn't even realize there were stairs, and so it made me laugh.
Okay, so what do we think? It's season 3. Who's carrying over? Who's repacking their luggage?
I think it's interesting that now, like, I guess because the precedent has been set with Jennifer Coolidge
Right.
crossing over, that people are like, obviously one of these characters is going to cross over, but I'm not sure that any
I
of them
kind of think
really will,
nobody will, but I want them.
because everybody's a pair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like, and the thing was like, yeah, Greg came, but like he left, so it was like it didn't really matter that he was there. And like Tanya became a pair with Portia. It's like everybody was in a little group, and I don't think they'd carry over a group of two, because that creates a dynamic that you're bringing into the next season. And like, I don't think Mr. Mike White wants to have a previously like a previous dynamic introduced, I guess, or introduce a old dynamic into a new season that has new themes. And like obviously you can do that, you can obviously morph the characters however you want into the new dynamics, but I think it's less interesting.
But the only thing is, like, Portia doesn't have a partner anymore. Her partner is dead. So the only realistic person is like Portia works at the resort.
I would
like,
say that her pair is now Albie.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
yeah, but and like if we wanted an update on the Tanya character, it would have to be through Portia. But I don't think anyone really wants Portia on another season, and I don't think she could carry a whole nother plot line
Yeah.
enough for anyone to.
The episode, he was like, I was thinking of like Eastern religion, bless you.
So sorry, I
Yeah.
was trying to like hide it. I couldn't.
Like spirituality, death, and
Yeah.
Eastern religion or something. And I was like, I see the vision, because that could be really interesting. But I know that everybody wants Ski Lodge, and I'm sorry, but I'm team Ski Lodge. With respect.
But Daphne said next year at the Maldives. So then people are also thinking that's real.
She did say that.
Yeah.
But that is another beachy location.
But I would die if it was like a Reykjavik or like Iceland season. Reykjavik.
Yeah, I think that would be hilarious. Like, or the Swiss Alps or something. I don't know. Just like the same vibe, but a different setting. I don't know. But I could definitely see it being like, we're going to Thailand, or like,
Oh, that would be cool.
Bali or something.
Bali would
I
be
was thinking
good.
Dubai.
Dubai that has the like excess
Yeah.
And I think also
Vegas quality.
Yeah, and I don't know, a part of me was like, I feel like he hasn't like duped on like influencers, and I feel like a lot of people are expecting influencers in the next season. I don't really know if I ever see that, but like if the season was Dubai, I could see it being like an influencer thing. But I don't want that, and I don't think that's what's gonna happen.
I think he does something interesting, which is like, you get characters that are like, if I don't know, if you want to say any characters were like giving influencer, it would be a mix of like Portia and Megan Fahey, I would say.
Yeah.
Because
Megan's giving mommy blogger.
Mommy blogger,
But like barely.
high end.
He was giving more like
lifestyle.
Real Housewives.
Like very minimalist house, super rich, like full-time nanny type, like aspiring woman. But like, I feel like it's less interesting to focus on like satirizing an influencer rather than like,
I agree.
the culture of influencing. But like, also I don't want to watch influencers. So
No, I think if it was an influencer, it would have to be like a not even like, it couldn't be a big one. It would have to be someone who thinks they are, and they'd have to be on a trip with their family. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just like,
yeah.
put
I
them
do feel
in like this weird, like humbling position as someone who like is trying to be in this like pedestal like way. Yes, wrap up.
You know who would body a White Lotus season? Ego Lotus.
Yes.
Say that. We need her. We need her presence. White Lotus
She
resort.
would
We
be
need her to be a
good.
Blossom member. She would be
That
so
would
good.
be huge.
That would be really good.
I need Skylar Gisondo at a White Lotus. And I know that's been said before, but I'll say it again because this is a perfect avenue for his work. Thank you.
I feel like this would be kind of obvious, but I would love Rachel Sennett.
She would be
Yeah.
good.
And I was listening to Like a Virgin, and I think this could be bad, but I also think this could be good. Megan Fox.
Interesting.
I don't know.
That
There's
could be
just
fun.
she has this like face that like can do drama, but it's also like she knows comedy. I don't know.
I feel like I love the cast that they put together because it's always like some well-known people and some like people you don't really know that well.
Mm-hmm.
And so it makes for an interesting cast.
But like, it's like, it's going to be Ego Wodum and then like Angela Kinsey from The Office.
Yeah, it's like,
like
kind like it's giving character actors it's your time to shine.
Yeah.
She's actually a fabulous actress. That was no shade to her. But like, I just think, yeah. And they do have to find some other Jake Lacey, Theo James, smart.
Oh, I'm sure there are many waiting
Yeah.
in line.
Everyone's waiting in the wings. Credit card ready to do lines in hand.
No, what we didn't get this season was Molly Shannon, who was supposed to be Laura Dern.
I thought she was gonna at least appear.
And
The
then
way that the Photoshop department
wasn't
had
even
to do
photos.
overtime on those iPhone images that he was scrolling through.
So
Yeah.
It was like when I
hired
put
an extra to, like,
I
make-
can do Adobe like Suite on my resume.
yeah.
And I can't.
Yeah. They hired you to do the Photoshop, and that's what you
Julie
came up
had
with.
Julie had to inform me that Greg was the other lead actor in Brokeback Mountain, the musical, in White Lotus, the photograph.
The musical.
Like, I had no
Oh,
idea.
I was like, I thought you were talking about a real thing, and I was like,
No,
I watched that
I
episode
didn't
a
know
little
that was
late.
him.
Yeah, sorry. I watched that episode a little late, and so I saw it on TikTok, which made me then at the reveal be like, oh my god, obviously it's Greg.
Well,
but-
I couldn't recognize Tom Hollander in that photo either, so I was like, okay.
it looked like him.
These are people.
The reason I thought I knew it was Greg was because the week before she even picked up the photo and he told the story about the cowboy, people were theorizing that the cowboy was Greg. And I was literally sitting there like, that is psycho crazy. Who would have ever made that connection? And the next week, what does she do? Pick up a photo and it's Greg. I was like, who thinks of that? I don't know. I was just like, who makes those connections in the brain?
I did tell Shea that I thought that Tom Hollander was just bamboozling Jennifer Coolidge with the actual plot to Brokeback Mountain and like just telling her lies on purpose. And then I realized it was like actual.
Well, to be fair, every story he was telling sounded fake.
Yeah.
And like bamboozle. So
okay. Last word, who wants it?
I don't know. I think I've said what I needed to say. I loved it. I anxiously wait the next season. If they ever cancel this show, I'm heading to HBO Max headquarters, and I don't know. We'll see what happens. I
agree.
Like 6 to 7 weeks of like looking to one worth of like 1 hour. That really meant something to all of us as a nation.
Television concept.
Yeah.
And it really did reach the monoculture in a way that not many things do, even though no one in my actual life is like, yeah, I'm watching the White Lotus. But
yeah. But It did run my life a little for a little bit.
It gives you
I
something
was happy to
look
turn
forward.
Mickey's over.
This has been a discussion. I don't think I have any extra thoughts. If so, I'll probably.
Wait, we didn't decide which character came out looking worse.
The worst.
America's Next Top Apple crowned.
I mean, there are many contenders.
You got to go with one.
Honestly, like after that episode, I honestly will say Greg, because he didn't even have the gall to tell Tanya to her face, or like do it yourself. Like, don't go a roundabout way, hire a fake hitman to murder your wife, who you helped through the trauma of her mother's death a couple months prior, or years, whatever. And then suddenly you're just sick of her for what? A random reason, because you're a man and you're PMSing? Like,
Yeah.
why are you killing her? Like, to get her money? I don't know. It was just like so.
Yeah. I'm gonna say Essex nephew, because there's no way.
We said not one thing about that this whole time.
Because he deserves no words, because he said no words. Like, I'm sorry, like in any other realistic thing, like there's no way. Like, I just hate that, like, thriller kind of just like, these are some bad people. Like, no, dude, like, now we know it's not true, but it's like, I don't know, I would have wanted more of like an explanation of like him just dropping her off on the street with no airport in sight, and like then him being like, these are bad people, like, I was stuck in a hole. Literally, say more words. You don't deserve any of my words. Yeah, I was just sort of like, boy, you, like, how long have you been driving this car? Like, you could have said something. I don't know.
And there was kind of a question of, was he forced in?
He was, for sure.
Yeah, he was like, acted like he didn't want to be there. He was like, I'm not going to go through with killing Portia. I'm just going to let her out.
But also like forced to be there, like sexual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I didn't know if he was supposed to kill Portia, if it literally, like, the entire time was just she was supposed to be like considered like just separate from the group. Like, he was like hired to keep her separated.
But he had to have something in on it in order to do it. So like there had to be some kind of
I
game
think
for him.
he probably was going to get a cut of the money, but I also think that because they didn't know Portia was going to be there, so I think that he had to be brought on, or they were like going to rope him in for her specifically, or like in some way he got like allocated to Portia to like.
Yeah, that's odd.
Because like that's why they had to like get her away. I think obviously Greg didn't care if she lived or died, but I don't think this random like Essex kid was actually gonna kill her.
Yeah.
And I don't think, and since all of them died, obviously they wouldn't have known if he did or not.
Mine is going to be meta in that it's Mike White, in that he was literally a jester director, like leading us down a very clear path, and then just like throwing banana peels and like laughing maniacally at the fun that he was having. And I just was like, wow, he really enjoyed himself making this, and was like, it's gonna work out because it will. I'm just like, bleh. Like, and he was like, you guys, it's not that serious. It's not that serious.
No, and I think that is like such a good season 2 reminder.
Right.
Now that it's like had the hype it needs, that like I think season 3 will be hopefully like more people will go into it being like, oh, this is a TV show. Like,
right.
Yeah.
But he was like, monogamy, not that serious. Like, sex isn't that serious. Like, vacation isn't that serious.
Yeah.
Life is not that serious. Like, bleh. Like,
yeah.
And then SB Heim scenes, I guess, were cut. So he's gonna have to work for that.
She has to be in the next one. We have one
Yeah.
of the Heim sisters in the next.
We need a Heim on the
She'd be an
production.
iconic guest.
She'd be an iconic guest.
She was responsible for making that theme song slap in the way that it did, and I think we should give her the credit.
Thank you so much. She was in every behind the scenes photo and video.
Say that.
Personal hype woman for the casting crew.
Seriously, that's what she was there for.
That's what they do professionally.
She was like making sure that their cast parties were fun.
Yeah.
And she looks like she did a great job.
She did excellent work on set.
Yeah.
Would hire again.
Would hire again. Okay, well, goodbye.
Goodbye.
Yes. Great chat. I'm going to end this now.